Hey there YouTube land. Today I'm back with another video. Today it's going to be the vintage Zebco 33 buyer's guide. And here I have 3 different vintage Zebco 33s. And we're going to go over a few things you should look for, things to consider, and lots of other facts. So I'll start out with the earliest one. This one is a 1967 or 68 model. It has the metal body and rounded handles. And if you want a metal bodied reel, there's a few things you should know about them. To identify them, just look on the bottom of the foot, and they will have a single large rivet. And one thing about the metal bodied reels is that from 1955, when the 33 first came out, all the way until 1964, these would have brass gears. And then from 1965 until 1968, they would have steel gears. Now this one has steel gears. It also has a square lock nut. Earlier 33s would have a rounded one. And as I said, they had these round handles. And one thing about these is they have in the back here, and I'm going to open this up just to show you and give you a better idea of what I'm talking about. But there's a little clip dealy bob that allows you to adjust the gears if they get out of whack. If you ever want to open one up, just take a coin or a big screwdriver, loosen that screw and the covers will come off. If you'll see right here, there's a brass clip and screw. And what that does is that regulates the tension on your gears, and you want it tight enough to where the gears mesh and mesh smoothly, but not too tight to where they interfere with your this transfer bar here. So that is one tricky thing sometimes with these. So that's probably the biggest thing to remember about a metal body 33. But once you have these gears adjusted right, they are phenomenal. I took this out fishing with me Tuesday with my cousin, and we both used it, and we managed to catch 4 keeper bass on it, and it handled them like a champ. So these are very good, durable reels. So that's the main things to keep in mind. But as long as you get the gear set right, these things are phenomenal. Now we go to a later model. In 1969, Zebco discontinued the metal-bodied reels and went to a Lexan plastic body. Now this one is actually a first-generation Lexan body, and the way you tell with that, when Zebco went to Lexan bodies, they used small rivets. And the first generation of Lexan bodies from about 1969 until 1971 will have 2 small inline rivets. They also went to flat paddle style handles as opposed to the round handles. But the mechanics are pretty much the same. One thing about these, and I'm going to open this one up too. Sorry guys, I had to do that off camera. You still have metal inserts and the traditional style of anti-reverse. Now, one thing that is nice about these is they don't have the gear adjustment clip. And the nice thing about that is you don't have to worry about adjusting your gears. You just have to make sure you keep these cleaned and lubricated. And even though it's a plastic body, Lexan is actually fairly durable. They sometimes use them on windows for airplanes and logging equipment. So it's a fairly durable plastic. The gears are a little different made as well. What are the advantages to Lexan? Well, it is lighter than an aluminum body 33, so there's a little less weight. I do find sometimes the drag runs a little smoother. And like I said, you don't have to play around with an adjustment clip on these. But other than that, it has all the same features. So if you want a little lighter reel, but still want, good quality, a Lexan bodied reel will definitely suit your needs. Now, after 1971, beginning in 72, the rivets went from 2 inline rivets to 2 offset rivets. And they would be one over here and one over here. And that lasted from 1972 until 1974. Why they went to that, I'm not really sure. So if you have a reel with 2 offset rivets, you have a 1972 to 74 model. Same design. And then we have a reel from the last generation of the Lexan bodies. This is a new addition to my collection. I bought this for a rod I had that I needed a reel for. This reel was made sometime between 1980 and 1982, and it's fairly similar to the other Lexan bodied reel, other than the little orange stickers and everything, and the Zebco sticker. Still has the same flat style handles, although in 1983 they changed the style of these. The mechanics are fairly similar, however, one difference though is the anti-reverse changed. It went from a teardrop shape to a small little switch here. As you can see, some of the parts went from brass to aluminum. The spool design is a little different, but the basic mechanics are still the same. And although the drag on this, the tensioner is plastic, on the other two it's metal. So they did put a few extra plastic parts in here, but these are still fairly good reels. And as you can see on here, you just have a singular small rivet. And that design began, or that rivet use, however you want to phrase it, was used from 1975 until 1983, when the last generation of the traditional style 33s were made. Now, one thing I will say with vintage 33s is that I will only, or really any old Zebco, is that I only buy Zebcos with metal feet. So anything with a plastic foot, I don't buy, because the plastic can get brittle. The metal feet are known to fail. I mean, the plastic feet are known to fail, excuse me. And the metal feet just look better to me. Personal preference, of course, so just my opinion. Which reel will serve you the best? Well, that depends on who you ask. The metal body 33s are definitely the toughest and will last you a very long time as long as you keep them cleaned and lubricated. The Lexan bodies, they save you a little weight if that's something you're concerned about. Also very good. Again, as long as you keep them cleaned and lubricated. And as far as line you want to use on these, you don't want to use anything over 10 pound. If you try to use anything over 10 pound, you're not going to get much casting distance. It's not going to go well. On this one and my metal bodied ones, I have 8-pound test Stren monofilament. On this one, I have 10-pound test Stren. And so basically, regardless of what style of reel you get, just make sure you keep it cleaned, keep it lubricated. If you're able to hold the reel, make sure you check it out. If you're buying a plastic reel, check the plastic body for cracks. You don't often find them, but once in a while they can happen. If you're buying a metal reel, make sure the gears look good and everything. Make sure you have all the parts, unless you have parts for them. Some of the parts can be interchanged between these reels, like the covers, the spools, the spinner heads, the handles. Those can be interchanged. The gears, not so much. The transfer bar can be interchanged. Your brake shoe can be interchanged. So don't worry too much about that. If you have a parts reel nearby and you buy one that's missing a part, you have it, then you're good to go. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and I hope this is helpful. As always, thank you for watching, and if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.